Hello everyone, this is Kira, and in this video I'll be showing you how I prepared my drawing for importation to Live2D and some steps that you will take right after importing your PSD to Live2D. So let's start. Just a bit of a heads up, I'll be out of character because I'll be speaking as Kira's creator. If you do not know how to draw, that is okay. You can still make your Live2D model. There is a guy here on YouTube that made a tutorial on how to make a Live2D model out of anime screenshots or any other images. I'll link that tutorial in the description or maybe put it here in the video. So yep, and if you know how to draw, always think in layers, like what is going to be at the front, the middle, and the back. And I advise that for beginners to not overcomplicate your model. Yep, for example, this front bang, I just included the buns here because I thought that it is acceptable for them to be moving together as Kira's head moves up and down. And the next layers, or objects, we are going to call them objects, they are just the mounts. And the next ones are the facial features. One thing that I had difficulty with when it comes to drawing a model was I didn't really know how to separate the elements and stuff. There wasn't really a video about it showing all these layers. So here I am showing these to you. Okay, so for each facial feature, you separate them like this, right and left. Let me disable this first. Yeah, so here the eyebrows, the eyebrows are separated, the lower lashes, I'll talk about this later, and then the folds, and the elements of the eye, like the other elements. Okay, about the lashes, I actually separated them into two parts. Let's see. Okay, so this part here, and then this bigger lash. Oh, and don't worry if your eye goes beyond the eye white, because you can do something about that in Live2D. You can clip it to the eye white, so don't worry. So that's it. If you do not want to separate the eyelashes like that, there is also another method where you draw a fully open eye, a half open one, and then a fully closed one. It's also in the tutorials that I've mentioned earlier. I'll link it here. And then the nose. I've actually made a mistake here. I wasn't supposed to combine the highlight with the nose line. I advise that you separate them just in case you do a nose like this because it will look kind of awkward when Kira is rotating her head from right to left. There's this point that the nose looks weird here. And the next object is the side hair. I put them together because why not? And then the ears, the color, I separated it from the body because when the body rotates like this, I have a bit more freedom to deform this color. Yep. And the next one is the torso. Let me zoom out a bit. And the arms are separated as well for an effective animation of the body rotation. And then the back hair. When you're drawing, always remember that you should not leave any void spaces. For example, the back hair, it doesn't have any empty space, even though it's covered by the torso. This is just to avoid problems in Live2D, because you wouldn't want any transparent spaces to show up when your model is moving. Another thing, it isn't a good practice to have groups when you're going to import your PSD to Live2D. When you really want to have groups, just make sure that you remove them before importing to Live2D, so you wouldn't have a difficult time just in case something goes wrong. Also, before importing your PSD, make sure that all of your objects or layers are visible, or else Live2D won't be able to recognize them. And now we will save this PSD and import it to Live2D. Let's pause the video, travel in time. Okay, it's running. Okay, we are in Live2D. I just opened the model file in advance because I'll be showing you some stuff. So to import, I'm creating a new model. You can just press Ctrl N. And to change the canvas size, because I want it to be square, I'm going to change it into 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels. And then you can just import your PSD by dragging it into the program. Okay, it's here, just drag it. And then choose your model name, which for now is Untitled Model. Actually, when you are far into the process and you realize that you want to change something in your model, like you want to erase or draw over something, you can do that. You just have to re-import the PSD and there won't be any problems. The stuff you remove or add will be automatically recorded by Live2D. Press OK. Add all layers as new art mesh. There. I'm pressing Ctrl A to be able to move everything. I guess this is the center. No, it isn't. A little bit here. And I'm going to change this SDK version to Cubism 3.0. Because Facerig might not be able to recognize the Live2D 4.0 files. Make sure to read the Facerig documentation before importing your model to make sure that your model version is correct. Okie dokie. So when you've imported your PSD, you can go and organize your objects. You can also rename them just in case you haven't named them in Photoshop or your image editing program, you can rename it here. See. And you can just drag your objects to the folder or part. They're called parts in this program. Just drag it here and there. It is very, very important that you put your objects into parts that are appropriate because they are important for deforming and warping. Yes. So for my model file, turned out to be like this. I have the eye part, mouth, nose, head, ears, body, and hair. Also, you would notice that there are numbers here. See? There are different numbers. These are called the draw order because when you change the places of the parts, it also changes what appears at the top and bottom. So you can just experiment with this draw order. Basically, the lower the number, the more at the back it is. I think you get me. Okay, now let's say you've organized everything. I'll be selecting all of my objects and pressing this button right here. This creates a mesh. The mesh helps you deform your object. For example, let's select a couple of dots. You can just drag and then make a rectangle and see. Ooh. Cool. There. You might need to edit some of the mesh. For example, the eyebrows. There. In general, excuse me. In general, for facial features, you might need to edit the mesh. Let's take this for example. Press Ctrl E to edit the mesh, or press this button. And then we need to delete this dot. And then move this one up a little bit. And then make sure that you always connect your dots. And I think this one is an excess. Yeah, it is. Let's move it here. Yeah. You can see in the Live2D website that they recommend this kind of mesh for the eyebrow. I tried to follow this kind of structure for the eyelashes or anything that might need a lot of warping, transforming. Yep. Basically, there is a line that follows the structure of the eyebrow, and there are several dots or vertices. I'm not sure what to call them. There. That's better. There are several dots outside the brow, and then you just connect them together. Make sure that you have little triangles here. And when you're done, press this button, and that is it for editing the mesh. After that, you press Ctrl T so you could generate your texture. I want mine to be this big. Press OK. Oh, there, it's nice. You wouldn't want any texture or object to be overlapping. Just drag it here, then move it a bit here. Yeah, I think this is okay. Let's rotate this a bit. Yeah. This is kind of a waste of space, yeah, I know, but I'm not very good at managing space anyway. And as you can see, oops, zoomed out too far. Zoom. Okay. As you can see, there is this kind of a mesh. There isn't supposed to be anything here, but when you zoom in, there is this line. You can go back to Photoshop to delete it and relaunch this texture atlas by pressing Ctrl T. And yeah. Well, I didn't really remove it in my other model file because this will definitely be covered up by the torso. In this case, just remove this set of mesh, and then when you're going to edit, just press cancel, but when you're satisfied, press OK. Yep. Alright. So that is it for part 1 of this series. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope I was helpful. If I wasn't helpful, or if you have any comments or suggestions, questions, don't be shy and just comment down below. I'll try my best to answer your questions and follow your suggestions so I could make better videos for you. I guess I'll see you next time. So, see ya, Kira.